What is going on, guys, and welcome to the Upper 90 YouTube Soccer. In today's video, we're talking about Team of the Week, Week 3 for the Premier League, so stick around as we dive deeper into this. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Mike, huge Chelsea fan, which again makes me a little bit biased when I pick players on the starting 11, but I think this is a well-rounded team. Yes, there were a few games where there were some red cards, so that did kind of fluctuate some of the point system in this week, but again, I tried to be fairly unbiased on some of these picks, but again, you almost had to pick these players because how well they did. Now, if you are new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate that. So let's get into it. So first off, let's start with the goalkeeper. Now we have David De Gea from Manchester United. Now, as you saw this game, he was rock solid in between the posts. Manchester United obviously got the win. They were a bit lucky. I think there could have been a penalty call, but there wasn't, and therefore this is why David De Gea was picked. He ended up having a clean sheet and also had multiple saves in this game, and even had a double save from point blank, and because of that, he gets the edge over all the goalkeepers this week, and I think it's well deserved for him to be in here. Now, starting in the back line, we're doing 3 in the back. Now, first off, I want to start with Cancelo. Now, like I said, Manchester City definitely is going to be a little more, how do I want to say this? They had so many more opportunities to score, do so much more in this game because Xhaka being sent off gave them so much room. Arsenal, again, are looking terrible. Playing with 10 men doesn't help their cause at all, so therefore there will be some more Manchester City players in this lineup. But Cancelo had the following stats. He had 1 shot on target, 89 accurate passes, and obviously they had a clean sheet against Arsenal. Now, mostly the reason why I picked him, because of the defenders, I had to pick someone, and I think he was the best defender of everyone else from Manchester City. Do I think he was the best defender in this whole entire week? You could be very debatable on this, but again, you have to give credit to one of the Manchester City defenders because how well they played. They didn't really give any chances to Arsenal, even though before that they did have a few opportunities when they were with 11 men, but they were able to shut them down, and that is why I'm picking Cancelo. So next in defense, we have to go with a Chelsea player, and again, this is where I'm a little bit biased, but I think you almost have to pick a Chelsea player. They also went down to 10 men against Liverpool. Again, a red card given to Reece James, but Liverpool weren't able to score in the second half, and Chelsea were rock solid in defense, and that's why I had to pick one defender, and I figured we have to go with the captain, Azpilicueta, and his stats were the following. He had 9 clearances, 9 duels won, and 6 tackles, and this was his 300th appearance for the club. Like I said, Chelsea definitely played pretty well. I could have picked pretty much any defender, but again, I went with Azpilicueta. I could have picked Christensen. Thiago Silva came off as a sub and also stepped up throughout this entire match as well. And our last defender that we're picking is Varane from Manchester United. Now, like I said, against Manchester United, they did have the clean sheet against Wolves. So therefore, again, I had to pick almost a defender here. They did, again, get a little bit lucky because there could have been that penalty kick. But Varane, overall, for his first match for Manchester United, looked really good for this club. And I'm curious to see how well he does pairing with Maguire. Now, the reason why he was picked were the following stats. He had a clean sheet versus Wolves, had 1 assist, and overall played pretty well for his club. Now, like I said, these are just 3 defenders. There could have been other players. Again, these are the 3 that I thought played pretty well. So let's move into the midfield. Now, in the midfield, again, we went 4 in there, and the first guy we have to go with is Gallagher. The ex-Chelsea player played phenomenal for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace finally got their first point of the season in a 2-2 draw, and it was most likely because of this player. Now, Gallagher's stats were the following. He had 2 shots on target, 2 goals, which again, like I said, got him the point for Crystal Palace. Now, I'm not too sure how often I'll be picking Crystal Palace players, but he is the first Crystal Palace player, and I'm happy that it happened to be an ex-Chelsea player. Now, along in the midfield next to him, we then have to go with the following player, Rodri. Now, again, like I said, we're going to have multiple Manchester City players, and the reason, again, why I picked him is because how well he was playing throughout the midfield, how many passes he had, and he had the following stats. 1 shot on target, 1 goal, and 100 accurate passes. Now, I always rate passes being fairly high up on the list just because, again, you have to make multiple passes to open up defenses. Again, Arsenal were down to 10 men, but again, if you're able to make all these accurate passes, it will wear down teams, and therefore that's why I rate it a little bit higher. Obviously, having a goal makes a huge difference as well. And then along with him, we had another Manchester City midfielder, and it happened to be Goudion from Manchester City. Again, he was another player that played phenomenal. Somehow he was able to score a goal against Arsenal when they were playing with 11 men. Again, I'm not sure what's going on with Arsenal's defense, but they looked very poor, and somehow Goudion was able to win a header over, I think it was Holding and maybe Chambers, but the fact that a shorter guy was able to win an aerial duel just shows how bad Arsenal are right now. Now, his other stats were the following. He had 1 shot on target, 1 goal, and 89 accurate passes. Now, like I said, I don't need to go a little bit more into detail on the accurate passes, but again, he's another player that was able to open up channels against Arsenal, and that is why I picked him. And our last midfielder to round it out is James Ward-Prowse from the Saints, or Southampton, as I should say. And again, this is one of the players that I really enjoy. He's a workhorse for this club, and every time he puts in a huge shift, again, I think I could pick this player pretty much each and every week, even if Southampton were to lose, just because his drive for this team just shows he's very passionate. And again, he's one of those players that puts in a good shift each and every week. Now, his stats were the following. He had 5 shots, 2 shots on target, and 1 goal. While the goal was a penalty or a spot kick, again, you still have to give credit for him scoring a goal. Not everyone scores off a penalty shot, and therefore this is why I picked him. And then to round out the rest of the team, we're going to go with our top 3 players, and that is the following. Fran Torres obviously has to be picked, even though he is a Manchester City player as well. Again, it was more heavily based on that club because, again, they were just able to beat down Arsenal. But again, he was such a phenomenal forward to watch in this game. Finally got the goals that he deserved, and his stats were the following. He had 2 shots on target, 2 goals, and 1 assist. He probably could have had more goals, but wasn't able to get that final touch in the box. And again, Goudion and everyone else, Jack Grealish, were able to just keep going and getting opening slots and passing balls in. But again, they didn't get as many goals they probably could. Yes, they scored 5 goals, but again, they probably could have scored a lot more. Then the next forward we're going to be picking is Antonio from West Ham. This guy right now is playing out of his mind. The top player right now in the league. I think he has the most goals as well, and he may be up there with assists. I know Paul Pogba probably has the most, but as a forward, he's right up there. And obviously, we had to pick him again this week because his stats were the following. He had 1 shot on target, 1 goal, and 1 assist. Again, I'm not too sure what West Ham's been feeding their players, but they have been playing just out of their minds these last 3 weeks. And again, I'm really curious to see how they keep doing throughout the season. If they can stay healthy, they can definitely reach top 4. If not, push a little bit closer. I don't want to say too much more, but they can definitely push for top 4 because they definitely can show what they're worth. They can score goals whenever they need to and grind games out. And then the last player I have to pick is Son from Tottenham. And there's reasons why I picked him is because Tottenham are 3-0 starting off the season. They're top of the table. I wasn't too sure how well they're going to play with Nuno as their new manager, but they've shown they beat Manchester City. They won this match again. So I had to pick a player, and obviously it had to be Son who scored the goal, and his stats were the following. He had 2 shots on target, 1 goal, and again, like I said, put Tottenham on the top of the table. And overall, just watching him play, the way he just counterattacks teams and how quick he is, he's definitely always a threat, whether he has the ball or doesn't, because Harry Kane's always looking for him. And again, he's just a player that you always have to maintain and make sure someone knows where he is, because if you don't, he can definitely break you down very quickly, get a quick shot off, and score one of those quick goals. And as we've seen so far, Tottenham are able to back down, hold a defensive line, and not let in any goals. They've won 1-0 each and every game so far, so we're seeing a really different Tottenham. This is almost what Jose Mourinho is going for, but they're actually able to sit back and defend really well as of right now. So I'm kind of curious to see how this keeps going for this club. So that is all I have for you today on the starting 11 or the top 11 Premier Week 3. Comment down below what you think. I'm really curious who you think should have made the list, who shouldn't make it, and again, what you thought about the Chelsea players I picked, because again, that could have been a little bit more biased. So if you haven't, make sure to like and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate that, and we will see you next time.